region has had reports of 5 actual or attempted suicides allegedly triggered by continuing investigations. And there are more, too many more. These may be statistics to the bureaucrats, but to someone, they were flesh and blood. 2 families like the Halls and Durgans are a tragedy. 200,000 families are a national disgrace. When I return, an exclusive interview on the U.S. predicament in Lebanon.
This is the number that takes you places you might never go, shows you things you might never see, brings you face to face with beauty. This is the number that brings you Smithsonian Magazine. This is the number that shows you the lives we led, the lives we lead, the life around us. This is the number that brings you Smithsonian Magazine. Call this toll-free number for your year's subscription to Smithsonian. 12 monthly issues for $17. What's more, you'll automatically become an associate member of the Smithsonian Institution, eligible for travel benefits and book and gift discounts. Nature, art, science, history, our whole world. There's no other magazine like Smithsonian.
This is the number that brings you 12 monthly issues of Smithsonian Magazine for only $17. 800-453-4808. That's 800-453-4808. Phone now, toll free. A whole world is waiting for you.
If you have to wait a week for business news, maybe it's not news anymore. The Wall Street Journal gives you today's business news today, so you can use it today.
Get all the business news you need when you need it. Get the Wall Street Journal. Delivered every business day for 6 months for $47. Just 37 cents a day. Phone toll free 800-453-4806. That's 6 months, $47, only 37 cents a day. Phone 800-453-4806 now.
Lebanon has become an American story. It's the only place in the world where U.S. troops are on combat status. They're part of a peacekeeping force. But in this unforgiving region of the world, peace has been elusive. Last August, I met with this man, Bashir Gemayel. He was head of the Christian forces in Lebanon. A few weeks after we met, he succeeded in winning the presidency. His bold, charismatic style and dedicated, loyal following persuaded the United States that he could do the extraordinary job of ridding Lebanon of foreign occupying forces, the Palestinians, Syrians, and Israelis. He was assassinated 20 days after his election. With his death went the brightest hope of peace in Lebanon. And now, Israeli, Syrian, and PLO occupiers seem to have hardened their determination to lay claim to parts of Lebanon. Fighting occurs almost daily. In Bashir Gemayel's place, his brother Amin was elected president. This man, Alfred Mahdi, was Bashir Gemayel's man in Washington. He was one of Bashir's closest friends and most influential advisors. Now he's serving the same role with President Amin Gemayel. I asked Mahdi about America's deepening involvement in Lebanon. First, I wanted to know whether President Reagan had agreed to commit more troops there.
Jack, this request was actually given a long time ago when the President visited the United States. He showed interest that he would like to increase the number of the Marines. And at that time, the reaction was pretty positive. Now the President have come up and made it a little bit more formal, and he have formally and officially asked the United States for that increase. And to our knowledge, there's no obstacles to the increase of the number, and I think we will get that increase. We're positive that it will happen.
How dangerous is it for the Marines in Lebanon? Are they likely to get shot at?
I don't think there's a lot of danger for them, because the Marines are going to areas which, after the foreign forces pulls from that area and after you gather all the weapons, as is the case in Beirut right now. So there's no direct danger that it's going to be a hit between the forces there. I mean, there's always a danger of a bomb exploding between here and there, but I don't think there's really direct danger on the Marines. And you have to keep in mind that what they're doing now is really getting that country back together, so that for getting stability in Lebanon will be a first step for stability and peace in the region. So they're in a peace mission than anything else, and they're loved by the people. They're well respected. I think the Marines, they're feeling very much at home in Lebanon.
How long are they going to stay? How long is this going to take?
Well, we're hoping around a year. After that, the Lebanese armed forces could really take over. It should be maybe a little bit more than a year, but it's around a year.
Is there a danger that the United States is going to become so deeply involved that it'll become entrenched in Lebanon?
Lebanon is a test. I think not only for Lebanon, but it's for the region. Everybody is looking for how would the United States solve the Lebanese problem. And I think after that solution, then you would see a lot of even radical Arab countries looking for the United States for help, because then they know that the United States means business. They know they'll stick to their friends, which is something that haven't done for the last 8 years, except when Reagan came to power. So the people of the region are very anxious for the United States really to succeed in solving the Lebanese problem. If they fail to do so, I think this will not be only a catastrophe over Lebanon, but over U.S. interest in the region.
Well, the Soviet Union must resent this this influence that the United States already is beginning to exercise in that area of the world. Have the Soviets made any overtures to President Gemayel?
Well, I think the Soviets have very much interest in the region. Their interests have suffered a lot after the Israeli invasion into Lebanon. Till now, I think the Soviet Union is busy in their own internal affairs, although they have been pretty active even before President Gemayel took office. I think what we should expect, especially after Andropov came to power, is an active policy towards President Gemayel and towards Lebanon, and I would go a step further and say even towards Israel.
Will Syria and Israel ever pull their troops out of Lebanon?
Well, we feel very positive about it. We feel that they both would leave. As I said, the momentum have started. We will need help. It's not easy, but we are determined. We are determined to really get all foreign forces out of our country. We have fought for 8 years, Jack. We paid a very high price to reach where we are. And I think everybody ought to know that we're willing to fight for 8 or 10 more years and lose more of our people, because we have the determination and the will to survive.
Today, Lebanon has become a U.S. protectorate. It's now up to the United States to bring peace and stability to this volatile place. The last place American troops went to establish peace was Vietnam. For the hungry and homeless, some congressmen give speeches, but their aides offer food and clothing. The story when I return. The latest surge in unemployment set off dozens of speeches on Capitol Hill. There's been much talk about the hungry and homeless. But a few concerned staff members became impatient with all the talk. They decided to do something. Well, they've organized their own charity drive. Each Thursday morning, a wagon pulls up to the Rayburn House office building to collect home-baked food, packaged goods, and bags of clothing. At first, the word was spread from one congressional aide to another. Later, a Dear Colleague letter went out from Iowa Congressman Berkeley Bedell's office. My associate Jerome Reed spoke with one of Bedell's aides, Nancy Payne.
As an individual citizen, there's very little that one can do for these people, but yet you walk around this city as a citizen and you see the need, and trying to get it going as a group I think is important. So it gives us as individuals a way to help see a need and take care of it.
Capitol Hill isn't the only place the wagon stops for donations. Day and night, the donations come in to Martha's Table, a nonprofit organization. It operates a soup kitchen under the direction of Dr. Veronica Mays.
Every single day we serve more than 600 sandwiches to the homeless, destitute people in the parks. And so that means that you have to find bread and things to make sandwiches, and it's very difficult.
What has the support of the congressional staffers meant to the program?
It's a great help. We don't have to buy the things, and they're always fresh, delicious, a variety of sandwiches, and other things also. They give desserts, fruits, the paper products that we need. They help us a great deal.
The wagon makes its rounds every night, fair or foul weather. One stop is Lafayette Park across from the White House. The homeless line up for hot soup, sandwiches, sweet rolls, coffee, and tea. For those who live on the streets, this may be their only meal of the day.
Since I found out about it, I was glad to come down and get you a few sandwiches, you know. And I think this means a lot to each and every one of us out here.
Congressmen have been quick to give speeches, but slow to respond to the needs of the poor. Yet not everyone on Capitol Hill is indifferent. Hard times have brought out the humanity of many people. While some people go hungry, hard times are bringing other people together. Next week, a report on a scandal in the nuclear industry. Why nuclear plants are unsafe. I'm Jack Anderson in Washington.
Jack Anderson Confidential is a Jack Barry and Dan Enright production in association with Able Productions.
I said, hey, they're a lot better off without this pressure that I'm putting them through. Because financial, it was horrendous as far as the amount of medical bills that was coming through, the pressure on all of these, being in pain, knowing you can't go see a doctor unless you've got a check in your hand. And I just said, they don't need this. And
at that point, what did you do?
I tried to take an overdose. I took an overdose of medication, the pain medication.
Intentionally?
Yes.
Why?
Completely depressed. I believe that to look back onto it, I don't know, it's just a depressed mood. And I said, you know, this is not my life. This is not my type of life to be living.
I'm just very angry. I'm very angry that I almost lost him, and that the system is so unjust and so unfair, and I wonder how many people have died.
Promotional consideration provided by World Airways. From the West Coast to the East Coast, across the Atlantic to London and Frankfurt to Hawaii, fly World Airways, the airline for people who hate to waste money.